Let's talk about the worst episode of The Office. Yeah, most people agree on this. The episode, was it season 6, episode 14, The Banker, is really bad. Like, there are some bad episodes of The Office, few and far between for the most part. Like, some of the first season's a bit cringy. The second through, like, 6, I guess, are really good. This is second season, yeah. All the way to, like, the first half of the 6th season, I really liked it. And ever since watching the episode, I'm like, I gotta talk about how they could have made this better. Now, as someone who grew up with friends, in the later seasons, even in some of the mid-seasons where they're like, I don't know what to write for this episode, it just becomes a, hey, let's do a bunch of flashbacks. But they always have context. In this case, the context is, let's tell this banker everything that happened in the past 6 seasons so he can buy the company or invest in it. Yeah, it's really bad. Also poorly executed. So the main idea of the episode is that, like, Dunder Mifflin is going under or whatever, and they have a banker come in to that they're gonna get HR to talk to invest in. Now, of course, they set this up as a joke in the first part of the episode. It's like, oh, it's not actually. They get Dwight. They get him to fill in for Toby, so Dwight can convince this banker that, yeah, the company's good. We're good people. We're not bad people. And then Toby's like, what are you doing? I'm still here, and kicks out Dwight, and then explains what's happened in the past 6 seasons. Except that Toby wasn't involved in any of it. And what's worse is the fact that you're getting all these clips of footage of awkward moments or hilarious moments, mostly best bits kind of stuff, because the writers have no idea what the hell to write for it. And then it just cuts to Toby reacting with a face. It's like, what the fuck, dude? And then you get the same with the banker just being like, what? You know, that's just it. The whole episode. You know, you get the start of, you know, they're talking about, like, what are the personal relationships like with inside the company, and then you get, like, Michael being a douche and Dwight being a dick, but then you got, like, the whole Pam and Jim relationship, which you've just seen summed up from the wedding episode, like, 2 episodes beforehand, and it's just painful. It's like, we've just been through all of this. Why are we getting this now? Like, there's no emotional build-up for it or anything. Like, they're not back from their break. It's, like, the timing of the episode, like, because there are 3 things that are wrong. The way that they've executed the episode of Toby being the main person telling you all this stuff when they have a documentary crew, which that's the answer to that. Toby's bad. Documentary crew should be showing them the footage. That would have been amusing at least because they filmed the whole thing, and then the guy could be reacting to it and be like, "Yeah, I'm good. See ya," or whatever he does in the end. I don't even remember. It's such a fucking bad episode. I forgot what happens. That's one problem. Second problem is, it's just flashback stuff. Like, there's no context that actually really works in the episode. Like, some of it's so brief and far between and doesn't actually happen in the workplace that's its own problem. You know, like, oh, you know, these relationships inside the workplace, and then it shows Jim proposing to Pam in the rain at a gas station, so far away from Dunder Mifflin. It's like, why are you doing this? So that's another problem. The context of what they're showing. And lastly, of course, is the actual context of the episode within the overall narrative. Now, of course, going back to Friends, they had episodes where they just did that thing. But they also did it quite well, or at least effectively, in some episodes where, like, say it's the wedding episode, or leading up to the wedding episode for Ross getting married to Emily, and you have all these flashbacks of Ross and Rachel's relationship, and it's like, yeah, for those who haven't watched, and also for those who would like a recap, because, like, they weren't releasing DVDs at the time or whatever, so it's like, here's a recap, remember when these things happened, you know, because it's not binge TV level stuff, you know, that's not how it happened. So you're not rewatching this stuff constantly and then getting this one episode just like, I've seen this stuff before, skip. Instead, it's like feeds the context of the episode through emotion of what's been shown. It's not just best bits, it's not random bits, it's stuff that relies so strongly to the context of the episode and to the characters that you love and adore and have grown up with or whatever, you know, like, you've watched their lives progress. So you're getting this throwback to all their previous moments in their lives, and you're like, oh yeah, I remember that. That was a great moment or whatever. But it still continues this theme and context, which is really good. The Office doesn't do that for this one episode, which is like the only flashback episode that they ever have, and it's so poorly done because it's just they're showing best bits because it's funny. Remember when this happened? Remember when we were good at writing TV shows? That's not happening anymore, so we're just throwing you this episode, because instead of, which is what they should have done, if they were to do this episode, personally, I would suggest that they had pushed it back a few episodes and focused it on the documentary crew showing them the stuff, because it's like, I don't know what to do, so Toby's like, hey, well, we've got this documentary crew, they've filmed a whole bunch of stuff, so instead of me just telling you, I'll show you what our people are like. So you can contrast with their crazy moments in the office, but then also their more interpersonal moments in the office. So showing their good side and their bad side, so showing that they're human. That would be good heartfelt stuff, and also good comedy. So a good blend of both. That would literally be the only reason why you do the episode. And that would either convince him or not convince him. That's all you needed to do. Set it a few episodes later, so you've got, I think by that stage, Jim and Pam probably would have gotten back. I don't know yet, but it's more or less the idea of Jim and Pam have gone, your main character is Michael Scott now, again, and it's like him and Dwight, and it's like, they're great, but they shouldn't be the main characters of each episode, because there's no, like, with Jim and Pam, you had this whole love connection, you had this thing that kept you going and coming back for it, but now they're married. They could be written off the show for all we care, like, their storyline's done. Even when they have kids, it doesn't matter. Like, the first kid is just, it takes so long for it to happen, and then the second kid is only because the actress who plays Pam, Jenna Fisher, just got pregnant in real life because she actually has a husband, and then they're like, it's the start of a season, she's pregnant, yay, no thematic or dramatic context, just she's pregnant because they're humans. Yeah, but what we needed was, as an audience, was to now have much more time to look at the other cast members. Because by this stage in the show, they realize, oh shit, we don't really have anything more to go on in terms of like a love triangle or storyline that makes people really come back to it. You need characters to invest in. Jim and Pam are gone for a few episodes. What do? Let's just have random skits and stuff, and we don't know. That's what they did. What they should have done, again, have a few episodes where you build up a few different character plot lines and really get invested in some of the certain characters, like the banker, like the accountants, or whoever, or whatever, like, do the Dwight and Angela storyline, like, really try to evolve these storylines, try to get more of the other people who aren't big in the show and make them bigger, because then you don't have to rely on Jim and Pam. Like, they're still there when they come back, but their storyline's pretty much done, but they're still there, and you still get the cool reaction shots, and you still get the funny banter and whatever, and it's great. Classic Office, but also, hey, I really like these characters, let's see more of them, So have that, and then resolve that with, let's have this banker come in, we'll look at the past and present, so then you're not just getting this idea of what the show is, like, we care about the heart of these people, but we also care about the comedy and their banter and the antics and all that kind of shenanigans, and that's important. That episode would reinforce that nature. It's like, this is what the show is all about. It's about the people in the office. It's not about Michael Scott and Jim and Pam. It's about all of them. And that would really work, because then the next episode, say Jim and Pam come back and everyone's happy, but then you go straight to talking about these people instead, and then these people, and then those people, and have some few minor gags with Jim and Pam being like, why is no one talking to us about our trip or whatever? It's like, because they don't care. They've got their own lives, and you're now focusing on these other people's lives, while also feeling sorry for Jim and Pam, and then everything resolves, and it's like, hey, they're all back, they're all friends. Maybe that continues as a few episode story arc in a way of, what is there now for Jim and Pam? And that's like the show even asking you, and itself, what's left for Jim and Pam? And then they figure that out themselves. I'm not going to say, oh, now they get pregnant. I don't give a fuck. The show did what it did. But yeah, that's how I would have resolved and done a better version of The Banker, the worst episode of The Office. I must admit, it's commendable with the worst episode of The Office, and there are some lousy ones in the later seasons. I think pretty much from the second half of season 6, from like the wedding episode all the way till maybe the end of season 6 wasn't great, I don't know, but pretty much the second half of season 7, I think that was Michael Scott's last season. His last few episodes were really good and picked up the show again, but that's because it had a focus point again. I didn't mind the last 2 seasons. I really liked the last season though. I thought that was really well done. and it's tricky. I can understand that. Like, even Friends had in the later seasons just some episodes where they're like, we really have nothing to do, and we don't want to keep paying our main 6 actors over $1 million for each episode. So let's just cut to a lot of flashbacks. Because again, you've sat for all this stuff, you've been there, you've seen them over these 9-10 years or whatever, or 9 years for The Office. You know, you've been there, you've seen how this has all progressed. And now for, like, The Office, they resolved it in this whole... Well, I mean, of course, their final 2 episodes and whatever, but their final season was also, like, a whole, year later after the whole documentary's been released and stuff. So it's like, you have more to go on, and Friends was just... We're just resolving it now. We're finishing it, because it's like, we don't really know... We can't really be bothered writing any more of the show. It's become too expensive for us to handle. Or whatever the fuck they ended it. I think it's because 10 seasons was long enough. But they, of course, did rely on a lot of flashback episodes. And it became a thing of Friends flashback episode is usually it's contextual still. So it's usually still got that nature to it. But it can be boring watching some of those episodes or seeing like the Ross and Rachel thing of like, see, he is her lobster or whatever. And it's like, whenever I see that episode with that flashback, I'm like... What does it mean with the lobster thing again? I can't remember. It was like 5 seasons ago. What is happening? And it always pisses me off when I see that episode. I don't remember what episode of Friends that is. But, because that was a big thing. That was a theme that they played throughout the whole entire episode. That was a gag that they played for the whole entire episode, about the whole lobster connection, whatever. And they ended it with Ross and Rachel getting together. It's like, there, see, he's a lobster, and whatever. And it's like, haha, it's funny, I get it, because we've set it up for this whole episode. But now you're just getting a regurgitated laugh track from 5 years ago or whatever. So it's just like, it doesn't really work. All in all, there are some great episodes of The Office, and there are some bad episodes of The Office. In this case, the worst being The Banker. And, I mean, it's still pretty good. For the worst episode of The Office, at least my personal least favourite episode, being just the flashback episode. The one and, like, only flashback episode. And that's good. That's really good. So, that's commendable. Like, but then, of course, after this episode, you had some really lousy ones that were just kind of boring, didn't have the charm and the finesse that the rest of The Office did. So, of course, you started noticing the downhill trend, but it never got worse than that episode. So, yeah. Pros and cons. Pros and cons. If I would have done it any differently, that's how I would have done it. Set it a few episodes later, focus it on the emotion and the heart and the soul of the characters rather than just the best bits. Show the documentary footage so you actually have stuff to reflect on, literally and physically. And then before that, have all these other episodes where you just focus on the other minor characters and build them up as actual characters, which they ended up doing, and they did really well. For the most part, at least. Not hard. Jesus. How many years ago episode was this? Fuck! That was 9 years ago. Well, 9 years ago, Office. Who wrote this episode? I want to bloody blast him. It was just Jason Kessler. He was the only guy who actually wrote it, because the other people just developed it and were creators of. I hate when they put that in writing credits. Ricky Gervais and Stephen Merchant wrote the show. No, they were just creators of the original. And Jeffrey Blitz directed it. Yep, I'm going into detail as to who fucked it up. Jason Kessler, the second, I guess. Not known for many good things. Known for his work on The Office. Holidays with the Voltagios, 2014 film? I don't know. What else has he done? He did... Fuck, now. Okay, so he wasn't just a scriptwriter, he was also a script coordinator and in the production stuff. So he was production staff on 27 episodes of The Office and script coordinator on 15 episodes. I don't know if that exactly meant that he wrote the episodes, but apparently this seems to be the only one that he actually... It looks like this is the only one he actually wrote, apparently. Yeah, he hasn't written that much. Okay, yeah, no, it is. It literally is. His writing credits, because that was Miscellaneous Crew, so he was script coordinator on some of the best episodes of The Office, including Safety Training, which I believe is the best episode of The Office. And, of course, you have his only writing credit for The Office, The Banker. Yeah, let's just say it is. Cool. Still, so his only episode that he ever wrote for the show, and it turns out to be the worst episode of The Office. That's not great, but I mean, he's still script supervisor for some episodes and whatever. So what has Jeffrey Blitz done? He directed He's a director and producer known for Rocket Science, Spellbound, and The Office. He's directed some TV shows, different episodes. Nothing really familiar. He did 1 episode of Parks and Recreation, 11 episodes of The Office, 22 episodes of a show called Review. I really doubt that that's anything to make a good light of. And that's pretty much it. Like, Trial and Error, 12 episodes, never heard of it, didn't do well. What is Review? That sounds like literally just someone reviewing shit for 12 episodes. Also, obviously just a TV dude. If you have any thoughts or want to discuss The Office or want me to talk about the best episode of The Office, fucking no. Why would I do that? We all know what the best episode of The Office is. Bye. Thanks for watching. This is a fun episode to make, actually. I've been wanting to talk about this since I watched the episode the first time. I've only watched it once. I know exactly what happens because it's like burnt into my fucking retina. So, if I were you, if there's any episode of The Office to skip, it would be that one. But I do suggest watching the whole of The Office. It's really worth it, especially the final season. Like, the build up to the final season from second half of season 7. It's worth it, you know. I like all the characters. They're good. Good show. 10 out of 10. Would watch again. Don't want to right now because I'm not really interested in watching a sitcom. Bye. Thanks for watching. Like, share, subscribe for more. I'm on Letterboxd again. Gonna emphasize that in the next couple videos because I can. Check out my other videos. It's all here. It's all here. I'm assuming you'd have, like, that's pretty much the reason why there's blank space there, just for images and shit.